Welcome to the video on parentheses. We're going to be comparing two problems. How do the parentheses affect the problems? For example, if you look at our first problem, it's 10 divided by 5 times 2. If we look at our second problem, it's exactly the same except a set of parentheses groups 5 times 2 together. According to the rules of Pemdas, or the order of operation rules, parentheses must be addressed first. So in this case, in the second problem, we will be multiplying first and dividing second. Now your calculator knows the order of operation rules. So we're just going to punch each of these into our calculator and see what answers we get. They should be different in each case because the order of which we perform the operations should be different. Pick up your calculator and let's punch in our first problem. 10 divided by 5 times 2 and hit equals. You should have gotten the answer 4. But in the second problem, we're going to add a set of parentheses, grouping 5 times 2 together. If you look at your calculators right now, you will notice above the 8, there is a parenthesis, the left parenthesis, and above the 9, there is the right parenthesis. We're going to add parentheses to the problem we're going to enter next. Pick up your calculators and let's begin. 10 divided by parenthesis 5 times 2 and close the parenthesis. Go ahead and hit equals and see what you get. You should get the number 1. Clearly the parentheses made a difference, and following PEMDAS makes us certainly multiply first in this situation rather than divide and multiply from left to right. Let's try some other problems. Let's take a look at two more problems that look very much alike. 1/2 divided by -1/5 times -1/4. In the first problem, you see parentheses around each fraction. These parentheses are only meant to organize the problem. They're not necessary. However, the parentheses used in the second problem are meant for grouping. And we need to multiply first in this problem, according to PEMDAS, and divide second. So pick up your calculators and let's punch each of these problems into our calculator. We're going to start with the first problem. Punch in 1 ABC2 divided by -1 ABC5 times -1 ABC4. Hit equals and write down what you get. You should have gotten 5/8. Now we're going to do the problem again, but this time we're going to use the parentheses to group around multiplication. Let's begin. Punch in 1 ABC2 divided by Now use the left parenthesis above the 8. Negative 1 ABC 5 times negative 1 ABC 4, and close the parenthesis using the right parenthesis above the 9 and hit equals. You should have gotten 10 this time. Let's try one more, and we're going to group around the operation of addition. Write down this next problem in your notes. Let's take a look at our final two problems. If you look at each of these problems, they look very similar, except for our second problem has a set of parentheses, and we're grouping around the operation of addition. So when we enter this into our calculator, we will use the parentheses above the 8 and the 9. But first, let's start with our first problem over here on the left. Pick up your calculator once you have written these problems down in your notes. You can pause the video if you need some time. Once you have these problems written down, let's take a look at our results on the calculator. So, our first problem, let's punch it in. Here we go. Negative 1 ABC 4 times negative 1 ABC 5 plus negative 1 ABC 4. When you're ready, hit equals. You should have gotten negative 1/5. But let's see what happens when we add a set of parentheses. You're going to be using your keys located above the 8 and the 9 on the keypad. Here we go. Let's begin. Starting here, negative 1 ABC 4 times. Now enter the left parenthesis located above the 8, and then negative 1 ABC 5 plus negative 1 ABC 4, and close with the right parenthesis. Hit equals. This time your answer's something a little different. This time you should have gotten 9/80, or 9/80ths. Clearly a difference when you use the parentheses, and you have to follow the order of operation rules. This concludes the video on using parentheses and using your calculator.